If you want to know where to find images and video clips for your projects, you've come to the right place. I'm going to share a whole bunch of sources. Some are free, some are paid, some are quite unconventional. And I'll bet there's at least one, if not 5, in this video that you've probably never heard of before. Let's go. First up, we have Splitshare, which has exclusive free stock photos. These are all really nice looking. They tend to have a different style than I've seen anywhere else, so they're really good looking. You do have ads in here. We understand that. They've got to pay the bills to host all this stuff. A nice simple list of where can you use Splitshare photos, which is pretty much everywhere. Any personal and commercial project. So that's straightforward. Doesn't get any simpler than that. The ads, however, get a little bit annoying when every time you click a different page, you get a full screen pop-up. Next up, we have Cover with 2 R's. Lots of free stock video footage here. There is also a Cover Plus subscription, which is $6 a month. That gets you a little bit more, but there's a lot going on in the free section. We can look at all the categories here. Now, this is very common on the free stock media sites, is to have ads that look like this. In this case, it's Shutterstock. So don't just assume every image you see on one of these sites is free. This in here in this section is all an ad for Shutterstock. We just scroll past these ads, and that's where we find the free stock videos. Next up is Clipstock. Now, this is a paid stock media library, but it does have a free 10-day trial where you can get 10 free clips. Music and sound effects are included. And they have some really nice videos and assets in here. And don't worry about writing down every one of these as we go along. There's a link in the description that takes you to the TOOLBOX at excelerator.tech, which is where I am trying to assemble all these lists of tools for everyone. So you can just bookmark that single page and then go check out all the stock media sites collected there in one place. Unsplash has tons of free visuals powered by creators all across the world. Lots of good images in here. Unsplash does offer an upgrade, Unsplash Plus, for $7 a month if you buy yearly, and that opens up some additional content. Drone stock is one of my personal favorites. This is drone stock footage, or stock drone footage, however you want to call it. And it's completely free. The only problem with drone stock is obviously they don't have every single city, town, or landscape that you might want footage of. Rawpixel, which has a free forever plan, has all kinds of things, including designs, elements, including photos, illustrations, just PNGs, just backgrounds, and the PNGs are nicely separated, so you don't have to do background removal. And within Rawpixel, you can use their editor to assemble designs and do some additional creative stuff. Has sort of a Canva-like feel going on there. There is a free forever here. They have some other plans. Creative for $59.99 a year, and business for $119.99 a year. And they do point out that the creative is for personal use. If you're just looking for assets and you're on the free plan, you probably want to come over here to filters and switch that to just public domain so that you don't find things you like and then find out that they are premium. Playphrase me is kind of fun. You can type in any phrase down here and then it will show you a number of movie or TV clips where that phrase is used.
Hey Dave, how's it going? Good.
How's it going? Good.
How's it going?
Good.
And any phrase you can imagine you can type in and search for. There's also a download button right here. There are some limitations on how many searches you can do in a day, and they do offer an upgrade through their Patreon. Pexels is a very popular free stock media site. They have tons and tons of images and videos. They feature a collection here on the front page. Today it looks like black and white photos. Lots of video as well in all kinds of shapes and sizes. Downloading is very simple. It does ask you to say thanks and gives you an ad for Canva. Pixabay is another great one. Pixabay has pictures, they have illustrations, they also have vectors and videos, as well as music and sound effects. The Pixabay license, as with many of the free stock media libraries, allows you to use the content and does not require attribution. However, you can't just slap it on a t-shirt and sell it. They don't want you using it for anything immoral or illegal or misleading or deceptive, and you can't make it part of your trademark or trade name. Yarn is a really fun site. Yarn has just a ton of really short clips from movies and TV. And you can search and find just that clip you're looking for if you have a certain phrase you're trying to find in a movie somewhere, or you can look for clips from specific shows or movies. To get these clips from Yarn, you'll need something like Tube Ninja, and I'm not a lawyer, so you're going to want to make sure that's all legit, not going to get you in trouble with terms of service or copyrights. And this is Tube Ninja, which is the free downloader tool. Pickrel is an interesting stock media site. It's more or less a search engine for media that's in the public domain. So we click one of these collections. We see this is about an Anglo-French artist. It's a collection for this fella, and then here is the media that's in that collection. And from there you can download, or if you wanted to print or buy it on merch, that's a separate thing that you'll pay for. But the downloads are free. Since these are in the public domain, they are free and fair to use however you see fit. Flickr, you may not think about Flickr as a stock media site because it really isn't. What you may not realize is that you can find images on Flickr that you're allowed to use. So we'll just search Washington here, and then up in this upper left where it says any license, click that drop down. You can search by commercial use allowed, modifications allowed, commercial use and mods, no known copyright restrictions, and US government works. If we click all Creative Commons, and again up here, ignore these images, these are an ad for iStock. Let's say we click this image, we'll see some rights reserved. We can click that and go find out what it's all about, what they want you to do. The licenses generally revolve around what you can do with the image and whether you need to provide attribution or say where the image came from. Creative Commons has many different license types, so don't just think because you see Creative Commons that means it's free to use. We can search by commercial use allowed. That's good news. So then we know we're good to go with any of these results that come up. They do sneak in the iStock ads right here in the midst of all the results, so be careful. It'd be real easy to go, I found the perfect one, and the next thing you know, you're on the iStock website, and it's very expensive to use any of those. Flickr also has a collection of U.S. government works. Anything that the United States government produces in the course of its work is owned by the American people, by the public, so it is free to use. And it's nice that Flickr provides us that collection. Next up, Kaboompics. Interesting name, and the images are nice and large in the previews, which is great, and it's easy to zoom them in. Super easy free download button there. It starts downloading right away with no hassle. Kaboompics license is all very straightforward. Everything on here can be used for free. Attribution is not required, and they say they certainly appreciate it if you do, and you can modify the photos however you want. It doesn't get any simpler than that. Definitely some photos and some styles that you won't find anywhere else. Freeimages.com is a collection of public domain and CC0, which means Community Commons 0 images. So these are the images that you can download and use as you see fit. Got a place to search, narrow your results by what you're looking for. They do have some vectors and illustrations as well as the photos. And this is just a straightforward stock site. The Library of Congress. Now you might not be thinking this is a stock media library, totally understand that. But what you have here is, scrolling down, free to use and reuse, ride the rails. So you have these collections that are in the public domain and they're available for use however you want to use them. And if you poke around this site a little bit more, you'll find plenty of other collections and things that might be able to work in your projects. And for instance, right here we have browse more content that's free to use and reuse. And they provide you with all these sets. They're very handy. Now, back in the day, before this website existed, or at least before I found it, one way to go find images that were government works was to go search .gov websites and look for images, but you did have to be careful, and still, if you're using government images today, sometimes certain government sites will have collections of images on them that are not government works. They have been permitted by whoever the rights holder is to display them, and so those you wouldn't be able to use. But these here in this section, the free to use and reuse sets, you're all good to go with them, all public domain stuff. Alamy, it has some beautiful photography, some very recent, relevant stuff, things that you definitely are not going to find anywhere else. The problem with Alamy is the price. For images, a single image is $19. If you buy a 25 pack, they come down to $5 per image. And the standard license would probably work fine for most things that you're going to work on, unless you're going to have more than 100,000 in a print run, you need a team, or you want to use something on a product. And video hurts the wallet even more at $83 for an HD video, $121 for 4K video, and at your cheapest price, if you want to buy a 25 pack for $1,200, you'll be paying $49.80 per video. Little too much for my means. Getty Images, well, that one's very much in the same boat. For me, as Alamy, beautiful images, you've seen them all over the place. Sometimes a subset of their library will be included in certain video editing platforms and whatnot, but to just use Getty Images outright directly is a bit cost prohibitive for a lot of folks. Large images and videos are $4.99 each. You can get you a 15 pack for $6,000, which brings it down to $400 per download. Even if you go to low-res videos and small images, your single price, $175 a piece, and a 15 pack at $2,100 makes it $140 per download. I think I will act out whatever video I need with sock puppets before I plan to spend that kind of money. Dareful. Dareful has stock video footage in 4K and HD, and it's all 100% free to download and use in commercial or personal projects. So Dareful is another example of a stock media site where the licensing is very simple and easy to understand, and I do appreciate that the ads aren't sneaky. I'm perfectly fine with them having ads here for other paid stock media sites. That makes total sense. They're giving you a service for free. Why shouldn't they advertise stock media sites? And I don't mind when they're there, like they've done here. They've got a banner across the top. They've got this down within the search results, but it's not sneaky so as to trick me into clicking something thinking it's a search result when it's actually an ad. So way to go, Dareful. Good job. Here we are at Mazwai, and this is a curated collection, so to speak. So this is by Vidivo, and all of the clips here are hand-picked to be included. Nice variety, plenty of great-looking videos. When you go to download the image, on the download page, you'll see one of two licenses. It'll either be the Creative Commons 3.0 or CC by 3, which says that you have to credit the original author of the clip, or it'll be the Mazwai license, which is free to use however you want, and there's no need to credit. Mazwai tells us, as all of these sites will, that you can't just take a bunch of the clips from their site and then assemble them together and distribute them as a stock media library of their own, or a package of stock media videos. Shutterstock. Shutterstock has some great stuff. For me, the only place I'll be using Shutterstock is when there is a subset of its library included in some other platform, like a video editor platform that I'm using. And the reason for that is the pricing. First of all, it's kind of complicated because you have images, videos, and music all here separately. If you want to make 5 downloads within a year, it's $49. Again, just for images. You can subscribe and save for $29 a month, which gets you 10 downloads a month. So at best, if you download all 10, you're going to spend $2.90 a piece. Video is a little bit more, $3.59 for a 5-pack. So that's what, $70 a video, or you can subscribe and save for $100 a month to get 5 videos. All a little too pricey for me. Moving on. Clipstill, cinemagraphs. Clipstill doesn't have much. There's not a whole lot on their site, but what they have is pretty cool. We can click free cinemagraphs. So what these cinemagraphs are is, you notice, like, this is a freeze frame. This is still, but the traffic's moving on the other side. Now, to get Clipstill stuff, you need to enter a password, which means you need to go to Instagram. That's too much of a hassle for me, but their stuff is interesting. And you can also just buy the 35-pack of cinemagraphs for $19. Mixkit has a whole bunch of stock video, music, sound effects, and video templates, all categorized. No catch, unlimited assets for free, no attribution or sign up required. Well, gosh, that's how things should be, isn't it? There are specifics here on what the licensing means for different things. You can't use it for TV and radio, video games, or CD. They do give you a note here that for YouTube videos, if you get a claim, just forward it to this address for help. I've never used that. I couldn't tell you how that works, but it's there. Got an ad here for Envato Elements. That is one of my favorite free stock libraries, the one that I've been using for quite a while. What draws me to Envato Elements is the simple licensing. This is not a free thing, it's a paid thing. But once you join and pay your subscription, then everything on here is unlimited, as much as you want, all the different things that you want. In addition to stock videos, they also have templates, music, sound effects, graphics, templates, and add-ons for different programs like Premiere and DaVinci and all that sort of stuff, even some WordPress stuff in here. So they've got quite a bit of everything going on, and their stock video and their stock images are very nice and a rather deep stock library. Envato pricing is $16.50 a month, paid annually, so I believe it's $198 per year. And if you do any blogging, I know Envato also has a WordPress plugin so that you can, within your WordPress admin dashboard or editor, you can find and insert Envato clips right there. Wikimedia Commons is one of my go-to sources for stock images of everything. The picture of the day is this flower I can't pronounce. Every image on Wikimedia Commons, you'll see something down here, the CC, which is the licensing for this image. You can click on that and find out exactly what it means. Attribution share alike, that usually means you're free to use it however you want, but you do need to give credit to the original creator. And if you end up sharing it, if you use this in part of another work, you need to share that work as well. There are lots of Creative Commons licenses, and we can even come down here and look by license. We can look for stuff that is just in the public domain. Here's a nice little chart of what the Creative Commons licensing looks like. Each one, you notice these two up here, if you want to be able to do whatever you want and not have to give credit and not have to share it forward, you're looking for a CC0 or this public domain mark. And this particular image, this illustration image, whatever you want to call it, has this CC0, which means the person that owned the rights to this image has dedicated it to the public domain and says you can do what you like with it. Google Maps. I bet you didn't think about Google Maps when you need images to fill in your videos, but here it is. And why do I say Google Maps? Well, one thing you can do is with the handy-dandy street view, we can drag our little guy onto a street and we're looking around DC. You know, maybe it's winter and you need a springtime image of the nation's capital. Well, you can pop right around anywhere you want here and get your picture. Also, sometimes a good satellite image might help. I don't remember exactly how right at this moment, but I do know there's a way you can turn off these labels and images and icons and whatnot if you don't want to see those. Now, do keep in mind that if you see these little picture tags above something in Google Maps, that these are likely images that were submitted by users, by local guides or other Google users, and not free to use. The map imagery, as I understand it, I could be wrong, but as I understand it, you are free to use Google Maps imagery as long as you credit Google Maps for it, and you can do that by including just a little copyright notice that's at the bottom of this. It may not be showing in this screenshot I have going on right here, but you can just include that copyright or add your own that this is Google's work. I found this really helpful, especially when I'm working on a video that's talking about some obscure place that there aren't a lot of pictures of. Using the street view, dragging the little guy on there, I can get images that otherwise aren't available unless I drive or fly to wherever that is. Storyblocks. Storyblocks is pretty awesome. It is a paid library. It's not an expensive paid library compared to the other ones. If Storyblocks isn't the #1 choice for content creators, I imagine it has to be in the top 2 or 3. And the pricing is reasonable. I'd be looking at the unlimited all access probably for $30 a month. And that includes the HD footage, the 4K footage, templates, music, sound effects, photos, vectors, and illustrations. You download as much stuff as you want. The starter, $15 a month. You only get 5 monthly downloads. That doesn't have 4K footage, the templates. I think the 30 is the way to go, especially the unlimited. You can go through 5 downloads in a hurry. One last thing I want to talk about, and that is Google Earth Studio. If you haven't thought about it yet, this is a fantastic tool for creating beautiful moving imagery for your project. Now, you do have to request access. I believe the first time you say try Earth Studio, what will happen is you'll put in your Google account, if I remember right, and then it may take it a matter of minutes or an hour or so before it comes back and says, okay, you have access now. Once you have access, you come into a spot that looks like this. You can start with a blank project or some quick starts, which I highly recommend, at least until you figure out how the thing works, because it takes some skill to learn. So you can have a zoom too, which will start you out at, looking from outer space and zoom you right into whatever level you want at a certain place. You have an orbit. So you've got a spot you want to just orbit around this thing. Great for stadiums, tall buildings, small bodies of water, that sort of stuff. Point to point, you can say, take me from the Empire State Building to the Statue of Liberty. And it'll sort of pop out, swing across, take you to the other place. Spiral makes me a little dizzy, but it not only sort of does a partial orbit, but it also changes the angle. Once you choose one of these quick start projects, you go in and define what you need. Like here, it's going to ask for the first point. Then it would ask for the second point. Once you put those in, you'll be in an editor where you can make whatever adjustments you want, the pan, the tilt, the camera angle, all kinds of crazy cool stuff, and make it come out exactly how you want. If you've got a spot where you like to go find stock media or other images or clips, maybe it's not stock media, maybe it's something like the Google Maps or the government thing. If you've got another secret you're willing to share, please put in the comments. We'd all love to know.